Hi everyone, I am Father J. Boy Gonzalez. I'm a Jesuit priest and the Director of the Ignatian Spirituality and Formation Office of the Ateneo de Davao University. The prayer that we will use is called a preparatory prayer. It is taken from the spiritual exercises of Saint Ignatius of Loyola. Jesuits usually use this prayer to begin classes, meetings, spiritual activities, and events. It says that whatever we do should begin and end through God. And that is exactly what we want and hope for in this activity. May I ask the Catholics to mark themselves with the sign of the cross, while the others might put themselves in their own proper disposition. And so, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen. Dear Lord, we ask you to help orient all our actions by your holy inspirations. Carry them out by your gracious assistance, that every prayer and work of ours may always begin from you and through you be happily ended. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen. Enjoy this event.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiging dalas ng sinakalan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manluluping, di ka pasisingil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay nilagang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang lang matawad mo'y tagumpay na naghihindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pamay di maghihindig. Luman ang araw ng warhagis pagsinta, mo'y langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay mga aking, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Good afternoon, everyone. The God in me greets the God in you, and praise be Jesus and Mary. Welcome to our 7th episode of Isfo live streaming with the theme, Maria, Ikaw Na. I am teacher Miraflor Masayon from the Grade School Campus Ministry Office, and I am so blessed today to have with me as my companion. May I call in teacher Annie Tabunan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Flor. I am also blessed to have you today as my companion for this live streaming hosting. At alam ko, hahaba pang usapan natin ngayon. So to keep myself hydrated, may baon ako dito. I have avocado shake, my favorite. How about you, Teacher Flor? Anong baon mo?
Siyempre, hangad kong maging always healthy. That's why I prepared a special pink juice lemonade, and I call it talbos. It's a pink juice lemonade. It's made of talbos ng kamote with honey and calamansi, paired with kasaba puto or putong balanghoy, sadyang Pilipino. What about you guys who are watching you there, and our pupils and students and teachers? Ano bang merienda meron kayo dyan? If we may ask you, type your answers in the comment section.
Good afternoon, Teacher Janice. Teacher Janice is watching right now.
Okay. Andun din si Sir Tim. Sir Tim, ano bang baon meron ka dyan?
Thank you. Thank you, team. Ang dami palang taga grade school. All
as
right.
well
Good
as
afternoon.
our formation head is also with us, Teacher Senya. All
Yeah.
right. Mukhang hindi sila makahabol sa kanilang baon, Teacher Ann, but
Yes.
But we are going to ask our guest speaker later, ano ang kanilang baon. So let's proceed. Because I'm sure meron silang baon na masasarap kagaya ng sa ating what we have and also very healthy.
Yeah, nakakabusog at nakaka-happy yung baon mo, Teacher Floor. Aside from being happy, talking of happiness, I am also very excited this afternoon. How about our audience from Facebook and YouTube? We are live now. How are you? Kumusta kayo dyan?
Teacher Annie, we have pinaypay na saging baon ni Teacher Janice Iskandor. Thank you for sharing that. Ang sarap. Pilipinong-Pilipino din. Okay.
Yeah, oo.
Teacher Annie, we would like to acknowledge and welcome our ADO grades 4, 5, 6 pupils, junior high school students, parents, and teachers as well. Also joining us this afternoon in a for the first time are the grade 5 and 6 pupils, parents, and teachers from Stella Marie's Academy of Davao, also known as MAD. Ateneans, meron ba tayong pa-heart dyan sa kanila? Let's give them a warm welcome with our heart emoticon in the comment section. Come on! Come on!
Yan, si Teacher Mitz, may popcorn daw siya.
All right. Thank you very much for participating.
And of course, we would like also to acknowledge some Marian devotees who are with us this afternoon. Most especially, the Sisters of the Presentation of Mary. And also the, ano yung isa, Flor? Hiyas?
The Hijas de Jesus, the Sisters of the Hijas de
Yan.
Jesus in
Hello,
Stella Maris
sisters.
Academy.
Kumusta kayo dyan? No? Kumusta kayo, sisters? So, Teacher Flor, what is our theme again for our conversation this afternoon?
As I have mentioned earlier, our theme is Maria, ikaw na. This afternoon, we will highlight the personal experience of our guests and sharers on Mother Mary's inspiration and intercession in their lives.
And to make our spiritual conversation more engaging, we will ask you later to share your insights, reflections, and takeaways. We call this activity Shout Out para kay Maria. No? Shout Out para kay Maria. We will choose 6 best reflections or takeaways from the online participants at the end of the conversation. Kaya, we highly encourage all of you to stay and listen attentively to the sharing of our guests.
So, Teacher Annie, without further much ado, let us now know who are our distinguished guests this afternoon.
Yes, no, hindi na natin patagalin. For our first guest speaker, she is 30 years old and was born in Calinan, Davao City. So medyo malapit lang sa amin dito. She entered the convent of the Sisters of the Presentation of Mary in 2013. She had her profession vow in May 2016 and perpetual profession vow in June 21, 2022. Currently, she is the head of the Center of the Mother Review Home for Children Incorporated. At the same time, she is the Provincial Vocation Director. Friends in the Lord, let us welcome Sister April Margaret Hikial of the Presentation of Mary. Let's give her a virtual applause. Or you can click the heart emoticon there.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, parents. Good afternoon, teachers. Good afternoon, students and guests.
Good afternoon, Teacher
Alright.
April. Our second guest, Teacher Annie, is quite familiar to some ADO pupils and teachers since she had been in ADO for 27 years. And this school year, she is teaching science and the class moderator of the grade 2 Mount Samat. And guess what, Teacher Annie and Sister April? Kagaya mo, marami din siyang kwento tungkol sa milagro na nangyayari sa kanyang buhay, which she will be sharing later this afternoon. At
So let's
siyempre,
welcome now.
wag nating patagalin pa. Sorry, naglalag ang aking laptop. Let's click our clapping hands icon with as we welcome our very own Mrs. Jocelyn Fuego Ortiz, our very own teacher from the grade school.
Hi, Teacher Celine.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for inviting me over, ISFO. Good afternoon, viewers of ISFO.
All right. We have also invited young ones who are role models of today's generation. We have with us a former member of Munting Alagad ni Cristo when he was in grade school, particularly a gift bearer. At present, he is an active student leader in junior high school. Let us listen to him on how Mother Mary accompanies him to have an intimate relationship with God. Help me welcome ang gwapong munting alagad ni Cristo, tahimik, responsable, at maaasahan sa lahat ng bagay. Let's give him a virtual applause to Janos Gio Olarte. Hi, Janos! Nice to
Hi,
see
Good
you
afternoon,
again.
everyone. Good afternoon, all to the viewers. Thank you po, ISFO.
We also have another grade school alumnus, Teacher Annie, who used to be the president of the altar server. At present, he is an officer of the peer counselor circle in the junior high school. Ang tinaguriang heartthrob ng mga altar boys. Let's welcome, or altar servers, let's welcome with a thunderous virtual applause, Antonio Benito Rabat.
Hi everyone, especially sa mga viewers natin ngayon sa ISFO, no? Welcome. And thank you as well for inviting me today in this episode.
All right. Hi, Antonio. So thank you, Teacher Flor. I guess everyone is ready now. Indeed, we are blessed to have with us guests and friends who are generous to share with us their experiences, their sacred stories. Excited ka na ba, Teacher Flor?
Yes, I'm that excited, Teacher Annie. And so, let's start the ball rolling with our first question. Well, it goes, who introduced you to Mother Mary? You may mention significant people. And what was the story behind the encounter?
Right. Anyone can share.
May we invite Teacher Annie, Sister April to be the first sharer. Is that okay with you, Sister?
Hello po.
Hi,
Walang
I would
choice,
like
sister.
I am glad to answer that question. So, as I recall, no, my first really encounter with Mama Mary is with my family. No, we used to pray the Holy Rosary every day at 6 p.m. Na-remember ko noon, we are really obliged to go home, no, to be at home before 6 p.m. Before the sun sets. Kasi magpipray na kami ng Angelus tsaka yung Holy Rosary. And the second event that I cannot forget is the Flores de Mayo every May. Siyempre, Mayo. No? Doon sa Kalinan, malapit lang kami sa GKK namin na chapel. So we used to go there, and before going there, in the chapel, we gather petals, no, for Mama Mary, and at the end of our Flores de Mayo activity, we are venerating Mama Mary, throwing those petals while singing Ave Maria. So those are the two significant events in my life that I can clearly recall, how I was introduced to Mama Mary. Enough.
Wow, parang nakaka-resonate ako kay Sister April, no? Parents, Flores de Mayo. All right. Thank you, Sister April.
Welcome po.
So, may okay ka ba, Janos, to share also your answer to the first question?
Sure po. An answer to the question, the main person who really brought me to may I verify po if the question is who introduced you to Mama Mary? Just to make sure po.
Yes, it is.
Okay po. So, the main person who introduced me to Mama Mary is my grandmother. She is the one who raised me since I was a child. Before, after my mother and father separated, and after my mother moved to a different place to work for my family. So, yung mother ko po yung breadwinner, and yung lola ko po ang nagabantay sa akin. So, she raised me, and it was her who encompassed me with all of my religious values. She trained me how to be disciplined, to be organized, and everything. So it's like she is my second mom. Kumbaga I have two moms. And she helped me develop a perspective of life which directed to what will be for God's glory. So ano yung mga ginagawa ko is for what is good and in service to others. So, included here is my devotion to Mama Mary as the Blessed Mother of God through intercessory prayer. And also, what she introduced me to stories related to Mama Mary, like ano ones sa mga saints, like si Saint Faustina, si Saint Bernadette, yung mga appearances niya. So, she introduced me to those stories. And yes, yun po. So she is the main
Wow.
person who really guided me and molded me to the person I am today. And secondary to that is my personal experiences as well, which I think I'll be sharing later as well.
Wow, Janus, ganun talaga ang lola, no? Ayan, thank you for your lola. Ayan, baka yung ating mga kasama ngayon, no, sa Facebook, YouTube, baka makarelate kayo. Ayan, si Teacher Janice, I can relate to what Sister April shared about praying the Angelus at 6 p.m. and joining the Flores de Mayo activities in our JKK when I was still a kid. Yes, makarelate din ako yan, Teacher Janice. Tubong ako, Flores de Mayo. Ayan, so can we hear also from Teacher Celine or Sir Antonio, sorry, Antonio.
Ladies first.
Okay, good afternoon again, everyone. So the one who really introduced me to Mama Mary was my mother. My mother passed away almost 20 years ago. So it was really my mother who really introduced me to Mama Mary. But then the one who really reinforced that devotion to Mama Mary was our catechist in the barangay. So I was 5 years old then when she introduced me to Mama Mary through Barangay Sang Berhen. Remember that I don't know if nowadays there is still praying of the rosary house to house, but before it used to be like that. So me as a 5 year old, I was at first, it was not really like a devotion yet, but I was really looking forward for the painit. There is a merienda every evening. We go from one house to the other, and then before kasi very generous pa ang mga tao. So very welcoming, very accommodating to the point na they will really cook kakanin, biko, may mga bihon at mga tsokolate at mga kung ano-ano pa. So pabunggahan noon ng merienda. So yan ang aking motivation that time at first kasi 5 years old eh. So looking forward to that every night to just eat the famous biko, and that's also my favorite food. And then as the time went by, I became the leader na of the group. And then the catechist also introduced me to Flores de Mayo. So the more that I really love Mama Mary. So from then on, every time I have a problem, especially with my father. My father back then was really a bit irresponsible, so cold, because he would like to just go drinking spree with the barkada and everything, and then we'll go home early dawn. So that's our life. So it was really my mother who really raised us, and then disciplined us and everything. So it was like that. So my prayer that time as a 5-year old viewers was, "Oh, Mama Mary, you will help me make my father responsible so that my mom will not cry anymore and everybody will be happy." So that one until high school. And then now that I am already 48 years old, fortunately, my father really changed a lot. So I really owe it that much to my devotion to Mother Mary, praying the rosary almost every night. So if not with my children and with my husband, so I really pray early dawn. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Teacher Celine, for sharing gusto sa painit kaya nakikisali when you were I can also resonate with that, and it brings back a memory of it brings back a beautiful memory of my childhood as well. How I also started my devotion to Mama Mary sa pagsisimula ng painit-painit dahil pupunta dahil may painit. We children loves food. Yun lang ang ano natin eh. Dahil may painit punta tayo, and we never discovered, later on na tayo na discover how the devotion have grown. And so, we call
I
on now
agree with you,
that,
Teacher Flor.
yeah. And let's find out paano naman si Antonio.
So I can actually resonate with Sister April, no, because at home my family always pray the Holy Rosary, so I learned it from my parents. And before, during my younger years, we watched movies na galing CD pa ginagamit that long ago. And on the life of Christ, for example, I don't know if you've heard of the movie The Jesus of Nazareth and the Ten Commandments. And search it up if you're not familiar kasi maganda yan sila dalawa. So from there we learned the life of Christ with Mama Mary, and it was then reinforced in school when we celebrate yung mga month of the Holy Rosary, and di ba usually nagbigayan sila ng mga October medals, and also ayun, my parents and reinforced in school.
All right.
Thank you, Antonio, for your sharing. No, na it was your parents who introduced to you, no, the rosary, and then watching that movie. Okay, so listening from our guests, the people who introduced to them about Mama Mary, their parents, teachers, catechists, no, from the Flores de Mayo, from people from the barangay, you know, the movies that we watch, no. Now, uh, let us move on to a very personal question. Ayan na, medyo personal na ito ha. So, who is Mother Mary for you? Sino kaya si Mama Mary para sa inyo? Eh?
For me
Yes,
po,
sige, sige. Sister April, thank you.
uh, for me po, I have many experiences with Mama Mary, and in every experience, no, nagke-create yun sa akin ng impression on what kind of image, no, na si Mama Mary para sa akin. So first and foremost, Mama Mary for me is a generous mother. I really grew up with that belief, that conviction that Mama Mary really listens, and Mama Mary really gives, no? Because I know and I believe and I was raised like that, that Every time we pray the Holy Rosary, Mama Mary is helping us, interceding for us on our needs, day to day needs. The second is Mama Mary for me is my comforter. Later on, maybe I can relate why I end up viewing Mama Mary as my comforter, especially in times of loneliness. And lastly, I only cited three to sum up everything. Lastly, Mama Mary is my guardian, my model in following Jesus Christ. So those three images, those three description are based on my experiences, personal experiences with Mary, with Mama Mary. So first, my generous mother. Second, my comforter. And third, my guardian and model as I follow Jesus Christ. So thank you so much.
Wow. Listening to Sister April, parang she's very, very close to Mother Mary, you know? Uh, she said, no, generous mother, comforter, and guard guardian in following Christ. No? So, thank you for that, Sister April. Okay, let's hear naman from other guests kung sino si Mama Mary for you.
Okay, so Teacher Annie, me
Sige,
naman,
Sister.
Mother Mary, for me is a mother whose love is so unconditional. So without boundaries, wherein she will really give everything to her child, to everybody, just to show her great love. So to the point that asking, even, di ba, asking Jesus to perform miracles for everybody. So yan ang aking image of Mama Mary. And then and also a sister to me, a sister now wherein every time I need somebody to talk to talk with, she is always there to listen to me. So with a listening heart, so sensitive heart, listening heart. So yun ang aking image of Mama Mary.
Thank you, Teacher Celine, for sharing that image of Mama Mary as a mother with a very unconditional love, and your personal experience of having Mama Mary, encountering her as your sister, like your own sister. That's so inspiring. What about the boys? Let's find out.
So,
Yeah, let's
for
hear.
me, go first po, no? I can relate with Teacher Celine's statement of unconditional love because to me, I see Mother Mary as my model of faith and love. So, let's start off with faith now. Because when she was conceiving Christ, she kept her faith in the Lord despite yung many uncertainties at the time. She is my inspiration in keeping my faith in the Lord. As for love, I see a mother's love in her. Because remember when Jesus was crucified, Mary was by her side despite the pain of seeing her son suffering on the cross, slowly um, dying from all the pain. So that love in her is so strong, and it inspires me to love others the same way.
Thank you, Antonio, for that thoughts of inspiring thoughts of resonating with Teacher Celine as well. The intense love of a mother and having Mary as your model of it. Alam niyo ba, Sister April, can you sense said bed of vocation? Parang nakaamoy ako ng bokasyon.
Yeah,
Naamoy mo
that's
din
right,
niyo ba?
Teacher Flo.
Naamoy niyo din ba? Parang naamoy ko as early as this point of the naamoy ko ang bokasyon kay Antonio at later baka kay Janos din. Let's wait and see. Okay? Janos,
Yes.
would you like to
All
share as
right.
well?
Sure po. So, I could resonate with what's been shared by Antonio, Sister April, and Teacher Celine. For me, I have two characteristics in mind which I can describe Mother Mary. First is that she is my role model. Um, in the Gospels, we see Mother Mary as somebody who is obedient to God. Uh, One particular example which shows this is when Angel Gabriel announced to Mother Mary via a vision that Mother Mary will give birth to a son, which will be our Savior, Jesus Christ. And then um, at the first reply, I believe, Mother Mary kind of like doubted somehow. And then when Angel Gabriel replied um, that God will be with her, and so Mother Mary also accepted the invitation. So it shows her invitation. I mean, her obedience to God, and that is something that I would really like to follow because I believe that obedience is the foundation of all probably all of our moral principles because we do everything in obedience to God and to His commandments, and not just that, we also do it because we have the gift of freedom na tinatawag natin, like what we learn in our CLE classes. We have that gift of freedom where we use this freedom to, and of course, we should also love ourselves because yun naman talaga. But at the same time, we also should love others. And by loving others, we also love God. So that particular action of Mary shows obedience, and I think and I believe naman for it is really her virtue that she is obedient from what I believe. Yes, she is. And then that is something that I really admire about her, and so that is why I treat her as my role model. And then second is that she is my intercessor. She is my intercessor because a lot of the time I also ask for her intercession in my prayers, especially if it is something very important or parang I'm on the verge of something. So she is really so I really feel her comfort because I am able to ask for intercession, and she has always reminded of that via her stories. Um, and those stories are actually like what I mean sa stories is yung mga saints like kay Saint Bernadette, kay Saint Faustina. So, yun po. And I think there are so many more pa naman din. So
Yeah.
that those facts really and those facts and these characteristics really what I what do you call this, like these facts and characteristics are what um make or build how I look at Mama Mary, and that those are what Mama Mary is to me. Thank you po.
Yes, thank you, Janus. Thank you. I really appreciate what you have said, no? A role model, intercessory, no? For you. Parang, uh, kung ano yung ginagawa mo, you always follow, no? Follow Mama Mary when Mama Mary said yes to God's will, right? So, yun, parang yun yung parati mong gina-follow to say always yes. No, it's not easy to follow yes every day, right, Janos? But then, you always go back to Mama Mary. Okay, thank you, Janos. So, kanina meron tayong dito sa isa sa mga audience, no? I like also to pick up that, but wala na kasi. So, Rihanna, I think Rihanna yon. Ayan, Rihanna Jewel Amparo, Mama Mary is a kind and loving and caring mother to all. Yes, that's right, Rian. Thank you for sharing that to us. All
Teacher
right?
Annie, the heat is
Yes.
on. Nagpalalim na ng palalim ang ating pagbabahaginan.
Mm-mm.
Subalit, mayroon tayong nakalimutang itanong, baka magugutom na yung ating mga guests. We might as well
Tama.
ask them first kasi nakalimutan. Ano bang baon meron sila? Dahil naibahagi naman namin. Okay, I would start from the gentleman, yung doon sa aking screen. Antonio, anong baon meron ka ba diyan?
So, baon ko po ngayon is, well, water And may sneaker bar po ako ngayon pang pa-energize lang kayo.
Wow.
So, galing kami
Wow.
Friday kanina po eh. So medyo pagod and all.
That's great.
Yeah. How about
Antonio,
you,
would you like to
Janus?
call?
Ano naman?
Same po ako kay Antonio. I brought something na pang energizer pero ano po siya, drink. Marveling Cup. Ano to siya? Energen. I really like
Ah,
Energen. And
Okay.
then, my snack na pagkain talaga is Skyflakes.
All
Tapos, plano ko
right.
din mag-dip ng Skyflakes sa Energen pang try lang.
That's good.
wow, very healthy, Janus.
Let's
Eh,
listen from our not so old, not so adult, from our mother and sister. And what do you have, sister?
Uh, I have po fresh buko juice from our backyard here in the orphanage, and
Wow.
oh.
meron din po akong bread.
Wow.
Mm.
Sarap niya na. What
Wow,
about you, Teacher
kasarap
Celine?
doon, sister. Kasarap naman ng iyong baon, sister. Me, I have water and then a cake courtesy from our pupil, Krisha Baklay. So thank you for the cake, pa-cake.
Teacher
Alright,
Annie,
so
if you notice the baon of our guest speaker varies according to their age
their
limit and
age.
bracket. The younger they are, pa chocolate, paano but yung mga season na natin, si sister, hindi pa naman yan, season, pero season siya, by your experience. Siyempre, nakaresonate tayo doon, Teacher Annie, pa healthy effect na tayo kasi we grow old in wisdom and in age. Charot.
Wow,
Anyway,
dito may nag-greet. Teacher Floor, may nag-greet kang Antonio. It's your birthday today, Antonio?
Oh no po, it's not my birthday. June 9
baka
po.
belated greetings.
Sa prank.
Baka
It's a
belated happy
prank.
birthday ito from
Belated,
Virginia
thank you.
to Roda.
Advance.
Paano
Advance.
nag-cheer sila?
All
Okay.
right. Teacher Annie, how impressive to know from our guests how they have known the Blessed Virgin Mary in their own personal encounter with
Yes.
Jesus. To pick some of them, kung natandaan ko ba, being mother as a comforter, ano ba yun, kay sister as a comforter, mother with unconditional love, and a sister to her, to Teacher Celine, model of faith, kay Antonio naman, tapos mother, an obedient mother. So it's so impressive. And with these convictions that we have, I am sure that each one desires to continue to be closer to God as they would like to emulate and follow the characteristics, qualities, values of Mama Mary. And so to continue, let us now listen to what our guest would have to share in the light of this point. The characteristics, traits, qualities, and value of Mama Mary, which they would like to continue to emulate. We would like to hear, sinong gustong mauna?
Yes.
Yung ano niya diyan, yung feeling niya na ito na talaga. Gusto ko 'to i-share.
O,
Hindi
sino
kailangan
bang
sino bang
sino
ano.
bang kinikiliti dyan?
Oh,
ng Holy Spirit to start.
Para ako na po yun. So,
go. Take it away,
Yeah,
Antonio.
start, am I right? The characteristics I would like to emulate from Mother Mary, am I right po?
Yes, Antonio.
So, that would be her strong faith in the Lord, because as human as we are sometimes, put in situations, that which pushes the limits of our faith. And it's in these moments, just like Mama Mary, I'm reminded that no matter what challenges we face, we must steadfast in our faith. We must just keep the faith, as they say, diba? There's when you're having a hard time and all, people just tell you to keep the faith and to keep going, and eventually you'll make it to the finish line.
Thank you, Antonio. And I so love that line. Pushes to the limit of our faith. And that is where your conviction is that you have to continue that faith in God, no matter how this odds in life pushes you to the limits of your faith. You continue to hold on to that faith, just like the faith that Mama Mary had. All
Okay.
right.
So, Teacher Flor, I would like to answer naman that question. For me, I would like to emulate the characteristic of Mama Mary, her obedience. Her obedience na to say yes to the will of the Lord. So even if Mama Mary doesn't know on what to do, na everything was really so uncertain, imagine if God will ask you to become the mother of God. So for you, di ba, ma-overwhelm ka. And then maybe for me, if I will be if God will ask me that, maybe I will say, no, 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 no. I will really say my great no, siguro, no, that moment. But Mama Mary was really obedient. She entrusted everything to God. Na even if she does not really know on what to do, and she does not know maybe kung yung mga kaakibat ng pagiging yes, nag-yes siya dun sa will ni Lord. But then nag-go lang siya, and then she went on and then asked the help of God na to really fulfill her mission to save the world through being the mother of God. So I would like to emulate that na whatever happens, even if things may go wrong, even if you are in the saddest moment of your life, still God will really be with you, whatever happens. So, yun. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. If I may say the other words for that, if I may capture the best word that would sum up your thought, Teacher Celine, it's the fiat, sister, right? It's the fiat of Mary that compasses everything. And thank you for sharing, for emphasizing that, Teacher Celine.
Yes po.
Wow.
I would like to to speak next, no, in
Yes,
relation
sister.
to what teacher Flor and teacher Celine and even Antonio said, no, her fiat, no, that really I would like to emulate, to imitate, no, as a religious. She is our model, no, of our yes, of our consecration to the Lord. So I really admired, just as Sister Celine said, no, how Mary said yes to everything that God wills. It's not easy to say yes. No, even our life, no, it's never easy to say yes to Him, offering our life, leaving our family, leaving everything behind to follow His will. No, the unknown future, the sometimes fearful feeling, what will happen to me if I will say yes, what if, like that. So I would like to really emulate that characteristic of Mary, her constant yes to God, her trusting heart, that whatever will happen, God is with her, that God is with me, as long as I say yes to Him, to His will. And that encompasses everything. For me personally, I would like really to and I am praying to Mama Mary and to Jesus about that, no? Especially for that characteristic, that obedience, that fiat every day. The moment I wake up in the morning until the end of the day, the fiat of Mary, her faithfulness to the will of God. So thank you so much for that question, and it made me. I mean, it made me. I am overwhelmed at this time, no, to recall that characteristic of Mary that I want to really emulate, that I want to really assimilate in me as a religious sister. So thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Sister April. I would like to pick up that constant yes to God. It's not easy, really, no? As a mother, like Teacher Celine, as a religious, no? For Sister April, as like Antonio, no? You are in grade 9, right? So, ang dami-daming mga temptations around, no? So, it's not easy really to say yes to God, constant yes to God. So, I really appreciate that you really mentioned that. How about you, uh, from our friends, no, from the YouTube, who are listening right now, who are viewing us right now from Facebook, no, you can also give us your comments. No, what are the characteristic of the Blessed Virgin Mary? Would you like to emulate? Would you like to follow? Okay, so let's hear also from Janos.
No, so I could really resonate with Antonio, Sister April, and Teacher Celine. Parang same-same lang po yung answer ko. Obedience and strong in faith po talaga for me. Um, these are the things that I would like to emulate personally because I will start from a little bit of a background story to explain my point. So, ano, there came a point in my life, maybe I think I was still maybe first grade at this point. So, parang at that time, maybe when I was in grade 1, grade 2, I wasn't I was of course serving sa aking church but not really super religious as I am now. But and at the time I was kind of parang medyo, what do you call that? Parang a little bit demanding or parang bata din. So, yes. And then there came a point I am really happy that I realized this from a very young age with the help of my lola, and that what really will be left in, of course every one of us is going to we all live temporarily kumbaga, and ang maiiwan lang natin is ang ating love to our loved ones, and also what we have helped to others, and what we have done for our communities, and the living example that we showed to the people around us. And it's because hindi naman talaga natin madala yung pera when we die, or siguro the awards and stuff. What is really important is that we fulfill our calling that God has given us, and that of course Mother Mary is there to guide us through intercession prayer, and yes. And so with that realization, it comes interconnected that I would really love to emulate the example of Mother Mary, which is obedience and strong in faith, because these two things are like parang kumbaga pillars sa why am I continuing doing what I am doing, and why am I looking at life in this way. And it's because yun, I am created for a reason. All of us are created for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Of course, we have that freedom of will. I mean, we have that gift of freedom given by God, and we are to use that wisely, of course. And so with this, these are the pillars to how I look at my life, and to what I do right now, because I know that for a fact that if I continue to serve, and if I continue to kumbaga help people in their life, or make people happy, essentially serving others, it not only makes me happy because I am able to help my community, and I am able to set an example, but it is also because I have followed God's will. I know that I have fulfilled my purpose in this world through my simple actions, especially now being a student leader. And that involves also building myself, taking care of myself so that I can also give quality service to others, kumbaga. And so, ayun, because of these two things, obedience and strong in faith, and and the fact that God is always there for us, and that Mother Mary is also always there for us. So, with these two, I am these are the two things that continue to fuel me to what I do and to how I look at my life, because I believe that these are like my life purpose, and that I have discovered from a young age what my calling or what am I called to do in my life. With, of course, siguro maybe because of my CLE classes. So yes, thank you. Thank you talaga to my CLE teachers.
Yeah. Thank you, Janus, no? Teacher Floor, what is common to them from our guests that they would like to emulate from the virtue characteristic of Mama Mary is the obedience, no? Strong in faith, no? Strong in faith to God. So saying yes again, no? Saying yes every day to what God's is will for us. I would like also to acknowledge those teacher Senya's mentioned in the comment section, and teacher Rhea. She said a while ago from Jaja. Okay. From Lillian, Mama Mary showed us concretely how to be obedient and faithful to the Father. All right. So yung
Teacher
kay Teacher
Annie?
Senya kanina,
I got it, Teacher
be,
Annie. I got it.
okay.
Courage and humility. From
And then
Teacher
from
Senya,
Teacher Rhea,
our formation head, and from our dear on Teacher Ray Araniego, complete trust to God.
ayan.
That's
So,
it.
kids, no? I hope you were listening to what Janos, Antonio, Sister April, and Teacher Celine have shared a while ago. This is for you, kids. If I may share also the quality of Mary that I would like to follow, it's just the same with you, no? What you have shared a while ago. Saying yes also to God's will, no? Obedience in short. I hope I could also have that courage, no, to say yes, no, every day, especially being a mother, being a teacher, being a wife, no, it's not very easy. So I really have that, would like really to follow, always saying yes. How about you there, kids, teachers, parents? Maybe at home, especially the kids, no, maybe at home your parents ask you to do something like ask you to stop using your gadget because they want you to sleep early. So in this case, y- you obey God through your parents. Okay? So kids, listen to your parents. Okay. Now, let's hear let's go to we still have another question, but teacher Floor.
Yes, but before that, Teacher Annie, it's good to
Yes.
acknowledge as well and our viewers. We have audience from St. Paul University of Surigao and Ignatian Institute. Thank you for joining us in our live streaming.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right. So, now, okay pa ba kayo? Okay pa ba? Okay pa ba? Yeah, all right. Now, I would like to ask you to share something, no, with us. Your particular experience or experiences when you felt that Mother Mary accompanied you or led you to closer to God. Okay? So, who is ready? You just feel free to share.
Okay, so I would like to start
Ah, yes,
sharing.
Sister
Um,
April.
so I cited three experiences, but don't worry, I will share it real quick. But I will just summarize everything. So first is during when I was in grade three, very vivid in my memory that I felt really very lonely
Mm-hmm.
because my parents went abroad. I'm sure many kids are can relate with this story. You know, absentee parents. They went abroad for us. You know, we understood that they did that to send us to a better school, to give us a better life, so that we can afford education and everything else. So, but I really acknowledge that experience as my one of my darkest moments with of course my lola took care of us. We are grateful for that, but the reality that my parents are there, you know, that felt very lonely, left behind, that feeling as a child. So I really felt that time, of course, the rosary continues every afternoon with my lola, with my siblings. But I really felt the maternal care of Mama Mary, despite the absence of especially my mother. You know? My lola also is very caring. And I guess Mama Mary really touched her to take good care of us. And second experience was during high school. I'm sure we have audience here. During that time, of course, we used to, di ba, Antonio and Janus, we used to discover ourselves. No? Parang taste ng kahit ano para makita yung anong makakapagpabigay sa atin ng kaligayahan as teenagers. No? So, I really was in darkness at that time, I could really say, because um, I had barkadas who led me into drinking, no, gallivanting. So I am not ashamed in sharing those realities because I went there. I, I experienced those things. But in the end, I really told myself, Lord, Mama Mary, I am in darkness. No, I recognize that I am lost. And there, through the Eucharist and through the Rosary, no, by praying the Holy Rosary, bumalik ako. No? Bumalik ako sa reality kung saan talaga ako tinatawag ng Diyos. And doon, um, maybe next time I can share my whole vocation story. Doon ko na discover na tinatawag pala ako para maging madre. No? With my model, Mama Mary, and with our foundress, Mother Rivi, Saint Marie Rivi, closer to Jesus. The third one is during my formation years when I entered. Of course, during formation, everything is scrutinized. No? And I began questioning myself, am I really cold? Having these tendencies, having this darkness within me, sinfulness. But I really, the experience of having Mama Mary in front of the altar, sometimes I sit in front of her singing songs, Marian songs, especially when my heart is very heavy already. So those three experiences, the absence of my parents during elementary years, during high school when I was discovering myself, and during my formation years, I was in darkness. No, I experienced darkness, and I am not sure where to go. But one thing I felt, it's the maternal care of Mary. Just what I have said a while ago, she was my comforter. She was my model in following Jesus Christ. And I felt her generosity through her intercession. That God really answered my prayers. God really led me to what path am I going to take. So her maternal care, her assurance that my sufferings can lead me closer to her son. So, in particular, those are my experiences. How Mama Mary led me closer to her son through suffering, through darkness, through hard moments. That is very clear in my pattern, the pattern of my life. Every time I am in darkness, that's an assurance for me that I am called to be closer to Mama Mary, to be closer to her son, Jesus Christ. So that's all. Thank you.
Wow, what a heartfelt experience, sister, no? So sister mentioned three experiences that she had a while ago. No, the darkness, the tendencies, the vocation. But one thing for sure, sister, what I got from your sharing is Mother Mary never leaves you, no? Mother Mary is always there to guide you, to guide you to the right path. That's why when you become, closer to Mama Mary, you also very close to Jesus. So Mama Mary is really our way, to become more closer to Jesus. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sister April.
Teacher Annie,
Yes.
before we allow the others to share, maybe it's good also to invite our audience. If they have questions, they could just type in the comment section, and we will entertain them while we are going having the sharing. Okay. To our viewers, you
Yes.
may type your, if you have questions, feel free to type them in the comment section as we go along with the sharing.
Yes. And our guest speakers are ready to answer. No, they tried their best with
Yeah,
the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. They
Virgin
will
Mary.
really answer your questions. So now, go, go, go. Type your questions. So now let's go. I think, Janice, would you like to share also your experience? How Mother Mary, no, accompanied you and led you closer to God.
Okay, sure po. Hold on for a second, I will putan ko pa yung script ko. Okay, here na po. So um to first start, I have many experiences which I believe that God and Mother Mary accompanied me, but I will be sharing one experience, or maybe if gusto ng audience, maybe another one kasi I have another one prepared. So um this particular experience is something that happened to me over a course of a number of years. And I will start from the context that I was somebody before who, like as I said kanina, when I was grade 1, 2, like in my younger years, I was I was still serving in church, but I wasn't super religious back then, in the sense that maybe uh, I'm also not going to be ashamed to admit, because I think that's really the nature of humans, because we have sinful nature, of course, and that back then I was kind of maybe spoiled, or maybe medyo madali magalit, especially if um, mag, mag-study na ako with my lola. So parang medyo ma-irritate ako nun, maybe because I didn't want to study. So I was like that back then, my younger years, until I did realize a lot of things, as I said kanina, about my calling, about what is really the most important thing in the world, which is our tinatawag natin legacy. It's because when all of our lives are temporary, and that ang madadala lang talaga natin is ang ating love for others and what we did for them. So that is a quick context, and so I will dive further into the specifics of my experience, and I'll be particular, and that is siguro this experience intensified when I was maybe grade 4, 5, and 6, when I was in grade school. Maybe hindi naging klaro with maybe most of my teachers or classmates, because I'm typically a silent person, or introverted, shy. So, yes. I will start with the quote of, "The things you have now could be the things you prayed for before." And in this particular experience, I prayed for something through the intercession of Mother Mary, and that it wasn't granted immediately, but it was granted after some years. So, okay, so I'm going to start explaining the experience para malaman niyo din. So, when I was still and also heads up, I'm going to be reading na from my script, kasi I do admit na medyo complicated yung story. But of course, I simplified it for everyone para mas madali maintindihan. So, yes, that's some information there. So when I was still a grade school student, although it might not show much to my friends, classmates, or teachers, I had a lot of insecurities back then. So this could be such as my looks, or how I perform. So parang the tiniest details make me question siguro myself. Siguro because I was still young back then. So kumbaga, yeah. And then it also affected how I interacted with people. Um, it also affected how I view my relationship. So, kumbaga, I had this parang, since I was a super shy person back then, so baka of our kids can relate also na medyo mahiyain. So yes, I was like that before, and that I tended to move away from people kasi sobrang nahiya ako sa nagawa ko. So parang ganon. Then this started to manifest to the point that I felt that I always wasn't doing enough, and that I felt like people were constantly looking down on me, causing me to feel that I essentially don't stand a chance. So parang I had this sense that parang wala na yung world sa akin, parang I feel so alone, kumbaga. I was in darkness, and that just like yes, I was in darkness. And along with this was also somehow I felt like something was kulang. Like of course I was thankful back then that I had my family who loved me, who are raising me. I I am thankful for that I have education, of course, and my food and all the simple blessings. However, I also had a few friends back then, so that was one of the blessings. But however, there was something that was lacking. Parang I wanted to do something, but I also don't know. And at the same time, parang nasasama din yung sadness ko about myself. So it was all clubbed into that one piece. So it was really tough. So uh so yes, I have good professional friend relations with friends, students, also with my teachers. And there are also times where I get feedback, and at times constructive, sometimes good feedback, sometimes feedback that uh imply that I need to improve something. And so that was that the previous explanations that I explained are like my inner conflict. So that is the inner conflict that I was experiencing that time. And so looking back at it now, maybe it's because I was pressuring myself a lot, or maybe I wasn't that reflective in a sense back then. So with that, yes. And then so in this period, there was a time this at this time I was kind of depressed, and there were also times where my confidence really shattered, and sometimes it costed friendships. And so with this, I felt an interest to refine myself. So this was the point where I realized all of those things that I said, like my calling, my purpose in life. And that was because that was maybe back then also, I didn't really have a sense of direction in my life. And that I didn't have, like, of course, I was learning from my classes, but maybe it wasn't established yet, like how I really want to look at my life. And so parang medyo wobbly siya. So with that, I felt the want to refine myself, like my leadership skills, my interpersonal skills. I studied those things because I wanted to improve myself for not just for myself, but for others and also for God. So at this point, I had already a sense of direction. So this really helped me a lot. And even at the simple actions like obeying my parents, like yung mag-study na ako with my lola, I changed already it started to naturally change na I I was willing to study because I realized over time that my studies really matter, because it is not just for my parents to be proud, but it is also for myself. It is for my skills and mindset. Once I go out to the world, like to do my job and everything. So that is what really pushed me to do well in my studies. So that is one particular area which naturally changed. And another area that particularly changed, and my Lola can also testify to this, is that um, I have less tempers back then. I mentioned earlier that I was easily irritant back then, but now, but at that time, but after realizing all of those things, I s- I started to look at things positively. Maybe it's because of that point of direction that really worked. So parang uh, I had a purpose for all of my things that I'm doing, and that I was also happy doing it because I know that I am following God. I am following what will be what will help others, what will serve others, and what will also serve myself, and essentially be a good person, kumbaga. So I was happy with that. I turned confident. I became confident in myself that I can be a good, kumbaga, a good person, or I can reach a lot of things in my life. So with that, it started to also manifest in other things, like me joining Muting Alagad ni Cristo. So at that time, I was like, I wanted to join because I wanted to help. So, sign up ako, and that's when I met of our hosts here who are also in the CMO, especially Teacher Annie, who's my moderator back then. Shout out. And then I also joined in a lot of other activities like Magis Guild, which is the school paper at the time. Uh, I also continued to join Munting Alagad ni Cristo in grade 6. And I continue to persevere in my studies also. So with that, um, I was healing, but of course I had some certain triggers kasi medyo wobbly pa ako that time. Maybe because I was still young, but over time I really was able to develop myself essentially, and it also started to manifest in my relationships with others. I started to get along well. I started to learn how to socialize. Um, like parang I met kumbaga a lot of close friends there. So that was something that really changed, and that was because
Yeah.
of God and Mother Mary. And so
Wow.
with that, it continued to
Mm-hmm.
in my journey in junior high school.
Mm-hmm.
uh I was given I didn't think that I would be given a lot of opportunities back then, because parang like of course freshman, so parang I didn't really know what I was getting myself into,
Okay.
until one day there was this person, and that was my moderator sa grade 7, who parang gave me that opportunity to actually step up into a leadership position. And that was something that I kind of doubted at first, kasi parang I don't know if kaya ko, but at the same time I also felt that drive na baka this is something that God gave me because He wanted to help me. And of course, that was through the intercession of Mama Mary. Oh, and also I forgot to mention that time, or period where I was depressed. I was also constantly praying for the guidance of God and Mother Mary during her session, because I wanted to attain that kind of freedom where I didn't really have to worry about anything, or nothing was lacking. So that is what I was praying for back then, and over time it started to get solved. So parang it really is true that God doesn't there isn't an instant yes to our prayers, and that maybe there is a certain no for a time, or maybe you wouldn't see it at at first glance or immediately, and that this is living proof of mine through my experience that prayers can also take time, and that eventually God will say yes, and that God will give it if it is His will. So with that, I'll continue back on my journey in junior high school. So once I was able to step into the leadership position because I felt that I was called and that it was given by God, that is when I started, like everything that I have learned. I learned many new things, many perspectives, and I continued that in my grade 8 years and my grade 9 years. I continued to learn many things, from others, and I have also served a lot of people through my position. I have also met a lot of new friends, and so looking back now, in my
Uh,
present position, I
all
have
right.
come to
Uh,
realize that I sorry po.
Sige, Janus, are you done?
Yes po,
Uh,
patapos lang po.
okay, sige, sige. Go,
I'm sorry
Janus.
to cut you, Janos, because we
Oo.
will still have, we would so it was a beautiful, thank you for that. If I may magnify what was common with everything that you have shared, what was common or grounded is that experience of darkness, which Sister April also had experienced, yung common, and then how you ground yourself to the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Am I right, Janos? And
Yes
so
po.
we're running out
Thank
of
you,
time,
Janus.
but we still have to hear from our from our teacher Celine and Antonio. Let's listen also a few words from them on that particular experience of having Mama Mary.
Okay, so thank you so much, Teacher Floor. So, Janus and Sister April, thank you for your sharing. So, as for me, I will start my sharing, leading my experiences that led me closer to Mama Mary was yung first, kasi after I got married, it took us 4 years before we had a child. So our firstborn, Layla Yulan Marie. So back then, after that, when we learned that I was pregnant, but the doctor, by the way, it took us, I think, siguro na-discover namin na buntis ako after na 3 months, almost 3 months. So I had my ultrasound, and then the doctor said na though it's positive ha for the pregnancy test, but the doctor said, oh, it's blighted egg. So hindi ikaw buntis. So parang gano'n siya, parang siyang bugok na itlog. So but then I did not give up. Like Mary, I was really persistent. I was really, I entrusted everything to God. My faith to Mama Mary, that she will really help me as a sister. She will help me as a mother. That she will really say no. And then I just prayed and prayed. My husband and I always go to the church every day. So kahit napagod na sa work, we will really go to Santa Ana to really attend Mass and to pray the Rosary. So imagine that one, the agony ba? Waiting because the doctor said, okay, sige, before I will perform the DNC na kunin na daw ang aking fetus is we will have muna, let's wait for another 1 week. So from that week, it was really with a heavy heart, but then the my faith with God. So every day we will really pray the rosary. I prayed na all the mysteries every day, just to really ask for Mary's intercession. And then true enough, it was really a miracle. So actually my OB-GYN said, oh, ano pala no, talagang kailangan talaga antayin. We will not really decide rush na mag-rush into DNC and perform the DNC right away, na kunin agad, na i-remove agad. Kasi there's still really a miracle. Miracles really do happen nowadays. So that one, after that, ang nangyari pa is after 3 months, the doctor said, oh, Celine, there is something na tumubo together with the fetus. So after 6 months of pregnancy, we have to remove everything. So imagine that, the agony again. But I was again praying to Mama Mary. Mama Mary, you are a mother too. You will not really leave us. You will not forsake us. Lord, you will not forsake us. I know that. Matutuloy ito, whatever happens. And then for that, after a week na naman of waiting, so I had my ultrasound, and it was really a miracle. Nag-shrink lang yung parang mass na tumubo together with the fetus. So it was again a miracle, teachers, everybody, teachers, parents, and children. And then the second experience was that when I was when back in 2016. So I had my chemo. I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, breast left. So I had my breast removed. Mastectomy is the name of the procedure. And then the doctor said, "Oh, Celine, your kind of cancer is very one of the type na hard to treat because I have to undergo target therapy. So not only standard therapy but target therapy. So 9 for standard, uh, 18 for target therapy. So imagine 27 cycles in all. So for the first for day for chemo 1, I had to bear everything, the pain and everything, the vomiting and everything. And then I said to myself, oh my gosh, one more, one down, 26 more to go. But God was really with me. Mother Mary was with me. Every time I have my chemo, I will really pray all the mysteries that God will not really forsake me because I had this for the standard therapy for the last 4, for the docetaxel before I will have my target therapy, mag-pass out talaga ako. So, if Phenedrine talagang itutusok yung ganing pang yung parang namatay na yung tao tapos i-revive siya. So yun ang ginatusok sa akin. But then God was really good. Maybe I still have my mission in this world to inspire maybe everybody. So imagine 27 cycles and then here I am in front of you alive and kicking. So thank God. Thank you, Mother Mary. So that really led me closer to Jesus because of that. And then when my brother also, at the same year, my brother also was diagnosed with brain tumor. During that time, because I remember the first conversation, at the beginning of our conversation, I said that I had my first encounter with Mama Mary when I was 5 years old. So I call myself Soldier of Mary. So nag-bargain ako sa kanya because the doctor said it's 50-50 kasi the size of the tumor is like a tennis ball already, so very big. So I bargained to Mama Mary. Mama Mary, I I am your soldier. I am so loyal to you, faithful to you at all times. Sabi ko sa kanya. So para akong nag-ano na ba, nangwenta na. And so just this now, please, let my brother live. But unknowingly pala, my daughter who had diagnosed with dengue fever was also having also her agony in the hospital. But during that time, kasi we were not really expecting that my daughter will really die of dengue that time. So ako, ang gibargain ko lang, my brother's life. And true enough, Mama Mary gave it to me. And so my brother lived for 2 more years, but my daughter did not. So, but then even if in that, even in that situation, Mama Mary still let me feel His constant love, His God's gratuitous love, abounding love, because my daughter died on December 8th at 3 p.m. So imagine that, the day of the Immaculate Conception, and when Jesus died. So still in the midst of that, I can still feel that God really loves me still. So yan ang aking experience of Mama Mary. So that lead me
Thank you.
closer to Jesus. So thank you,
Thank
God.
you, Teacher
Thank you, Teacher Celine.
Celine.
Thank you for
So,
being a survivor and soldier of Mama Mary. As you narrated to us your miracle story of being a mother by praying to Jesus without ceasing, and all your prayers were answered. And let's listen now to Antonio quickly, not quickly, the summary of Antonio's personal experience
yes, go
of Mama Mary's
Antonio.
inspiration as well.
Okay, but before I proceed to my sharing po, can I be heard? Because it's raining hard
Yeah,
dito.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
You're
yeah.
Okay.
audible.
Alright, so going back to my personal experiences, will just be a brief summary. So, nung 2021 June, my me and my family were tested positive for COVID-19, and that time parang Delta pa yun. So medyo kabahan talaga kami noon. And well, we all felt fear. Felt that fear knowing because we didn't know what was going to happen, no, the possibilities, and things were very uncertain. But knowing the life of Mama Mary, it reminded me and my family to just hold on and to, as I said earlier, to keep that faith, just as she kept her faith that everything will be okay. And well, I'm here, and things and I owe it to Mama Mary that we're all safe right now, and hopefully this pandemic will be over, and we would all be outside again with friends and family, and that that ends my sharing.
Thank you, Antonio. So, since we are running out of time, so ang sarap, no? I'm so happy and blessed and inspired by your life stories, no? How Mama Mary really intercedes, no, for your in your life right now. So, I think let's proceed now for the closure, no, Teacher Floor. Uh, can we ask one line or before we end this conversation, then we go to our yeah, right. Sige. Thank you so much, Teacher Jenny. So, merong ano dito. So, I think we will now go to our shout out kay Maria, no? For our, we will choose 5 reflections, insights, takeaways from this conversation. So, go Teacher Floor, who is the first um group who will post.
Okay. Like it was mentioned, we're going to post takeaways and inspirations from our speakers, and this is what we're going to do. First, we're going to wait for your group to be called before you submit your answers in the comment section. After you have written your reflections, write your affiliations, whether you are a parent, a teacher, a nun, a student, and from what grade level do you belong or from what school. Let's begin from our adult audience slash the teachers, the nuns, and the parents and teachers. I-shout out nyo na yan. Ano ba ang iyong shout out para kay Maria? What had inspired you? What had transpired in you? In the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Post now your reflection questions in the comment section.
Yes, this is for the parents, teachers, nuns, no, for the adult audience. Go. Yes. We are going to choose. Ayan, meron na tayong winner from Teacher Neng. Hi, Teacher Neng. I would like to read this. When difficulties in motherhood strike, when doubts about safety visit me, when prayers become dry, I turn to Mama Mary for help. Meditating, I recall how she has been as a mother to such a child Jesus who grew up in God's will and entrusted one's life to nothing but faith in God. Then I am consoled and inspired. So you are our first winner, Teacher Neng. All right.
Congratulations, Teacher Ning. Indeed, you were
Congratulations.
inspired by Mother Mary. And last, and we will have now, Teacher Annie, the second group.
All right. For our second group, okay, this time for our dear pupils, grade school and junior high school students from Ateneo. Okay,
Grade 5 and 6 pupils
yeah,
from
meron
Stella
din
Maris as
tayong
well.
mga students from SMAD. Okay, you can, diretso na tayo. No? Shout out kay Maria dyan. Post now your reflection in the comment section. Go. Very short lang. What are your
Takeaways.
takeaways? Yeah. What transpired you? Go. Meron kami mga prizes. Meron ba tayo dyan, Teacher Glyce? Meron na ba nakapost dyan?
So far, parang wala, Teacher Annie. So we'll proceed
Parang
na lang.
wala. Sige.
We will proceed the invitation to the last but not the least. Let's find out from our special participants from Stella Maris Academy of Davao. Do we have takeaways or inspirations? I-shout out nyo na. Post it in our comment section. Let's try to find out if they're still here.
Alright,
Again, do not
yung
forget to write your affiliation.
alright, yung mga pupils natin, no, if you need more time, no, we will give you some extension. Okay, you can now type your takeaways. Ano yung nakuha ninyo ngayong gabi? Who is Mother Mary for you?
Or perhaps, what is God's invitation to you now after you have listened to the sacred stories of our sharers?
So kung wala kayong maisip ngayon at this very moment, you can still type kasi baka mamaya, no, we can go over your takeaways. Then we will send you an email. No, the ISFO will send you an email where you can claim your prizes. All right. So, Teacher Floor, let's
Before
now.
before we bring our activity into a close, may we invite this time our guest to say a one-liner inspiring message that would serve as our pabaon. Kasali tayo doon, as our pabaon and to our online viewers. Kumbaga, kwentong hango kay Maria ay babaunin ko na. Whoever is inspired to share your one-liner, take it away.
Okay, let's start with Sister April.
Okay pa. If you want to get closer to Jesus, be close to Mama Mary. She knows the way. A mother is always close to her son. Pray the Holy Rosary every day, the best weapon in life's battle. So
Yeah, thank you, Sister
always bring with
April.
you your weapon every day in the life's battle, in your everyday life's battle. God
All
bless po.
right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Sister
Teacher
April.
April.
Now let's go to Teacher Celine. Go.
Okay. If you want to stay connected with no restrictions, with all connections at all times. So don't forget to pray to Mama Mary. That will lead you more closer to Jesus. So my prayer talaga every day is, Mama Mary, Jesus, please stay with me, remain with me, and be with me. Thank you. Good
Ayan.
evening.
Thank you, Teacher Celine. Thank you so much. Now let's go to Antonio.
Okay, so this is somewhat similar to Sister April and Teacher Celine, and that is always remember that we have one line to the Lord through Mama Mary. So let us keep the faith and the habit of praying.
All right. Thank you, Antonio. How about from Janus?
I can also I have somewhat the same thoughts or answers with Antonio, Sister April, and Teacher Sabine. Uh, let's just remember that God and of course Mother Mary is always there for us. They are there to guide us, and maybe there are maybe when we look at ourselves, maybe we don't really, maybe there are some people who may not connect much with God or something like that. But let us just continue to guide them, kumbaga, because
Hey.
I really believe that God is always around and that there are
Yes.
always
All right.
opportunities and that,
Thank
yes, and we just, let's be advocates for, essentially be advocates for God and Mother Mary, and that let's guide our fellow brothers and sisters, be it classmates, friends, or kung sino man, politely and humbly remind them about the presence of God and Mother Mary. They're always there, and they're always there for the rest of our lives. So yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sister April, Teacher
What about
Celine,
Antonio? Si Antonio hindi pa
Antonio. Tapos na si
nakashare.
Antonio. Thank you so much, Janos. No? Thank you so much for your full pack na pabaon for all of us. No? We are so blessed to have you with us today. May our devotion to Mother Mary lead us to an intimate encounter with God. And so, Indeed, this afternoon has been an engaging, enriching, and inspiring afternoon. So thank you, Mama Mary, for being with us today and every day in our lives. Teacher Flor?
Yes, I am inspired, and I believe for all of us Marian devotees, we have been affirmed and consoled with what we have heard this afternoon. And I am pretty sure that each one of us, in one way or another, has been inspired by Mama Mary too. Perhaps for our viewers and for the rest of our students, it may be good to conclude our weekend or our evening to be more mindful of our personal experiences as well on how Mama Mary has been your source of inspiration or how she intercedes for you and your family.
All
Maybe
right.
over the weekend you could grab a pen, Teacher Annie. Would you like to
All
explain
right.
further?
No? Yeah, that's right, Teacher Floor. Okay, so this will not be the ending of our reflection. No? This will be the beginning, no, of uh, noticing Mama Mary in our lives. Okay? So, Viva Maria!
Viva
Viva
Jesus!
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 And we have been your host today. I am Teacher Annie.
I am Teacher Flor Masayon saying we continue to follow the example of Mary and ask her intercession in our desire of God's will, loving and serving God in everything.
Amare et servire, just like Mary in everything, love and serve the Lord, all for the greater glory of God. All
Stay safe,
right. Stay,
everyone. Take
stay
care. God
safe,
bless
take
and
care,
have
and
a
God bless
wonderful
us all.
weekend.
God
Yes.
bless.
Amen.